Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I have recorded this like 600 times. I don't know what it is today, but I am having trouble speaking and thinking, so definitely a great day to record a video, right? I am super happy that March is here. I'm super happy that we are into the more spring weather. It's a gorgeous day today. I have the windows open and just such nice energy outside, so I'm super excited about that. On that note, good riddance February. Here's what I read. Alrighty, so the first book I read this month, or last month. See, I'm already like 2 minutes into the video and I'm already like gone. Okay, so first book I read this month, last month, was The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison. I don't know where the sleeve is for this, because if I'm honest, I throw them in the garbage. So sorry, book lovers. There are people who treat their books like children, and I am not one of them. I am so sorry for the way that I treat my books. However, I like to write in them and I like to highlight in them, and I throw the book sleeve away. Dislike the video now. This book, however, phenomenal. I loved it. 5 out of 5. Toni Morrison has a wonderful way with words, and I absolutely love all of her works that I've ever read. So I have no complaints. It was destined for success. So The Source of Self-Regard is pretty much just a collection of essays and speeches by Toni Morrison, and it is so good. Some of them are long, and then some of them are really, really short. So it was a really, really great book to just read once in a while. Like, I had this book going as well as a couple other books, and it was really easy to be able to just like read, a piece from this and then read a couple chapters of like a novel or something like that. So definitely a great book if you are someone who likes to read a few books at a time, but you're looking for something that is like completely different than your normal reading. Yeah, so this is like a super great feminist piece of work, and super easy to read and super insightful, and definitely something that you should be reading if you are trying to, learn more about other people and that kind of stuff. Because obviously I can't relate to a lot of the stuff that she talks about, but I can definitely learn from it. So awesome book, 5 out of 5. Check it out. Okay, the next book that I read for my school. It was for my storytelling class in university, and it was Agatha Christie's 5 Little Pigs. I didn't love this. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Would I recommend it to somebody? Absolutely not. Would I ever talk about this again? Absolutely not. Did I hate it? No. So I feel like that pretty much sums up every single book that I read in February. Like, I had a lot of just it was okay kind of books. This was definitely one of them. So it follows this detective who is brought to this case about this woman who committed murder, and her daughter had opened this letter from her like 21 years later that said, "I'm not guilty." And so it follows like this detective who contacts a bunch of people who knew the murderer. It like goes through like the storytelling process about how like each person remembers the story happening. So it's a really, really awesome book for analyzing the way that we tell stories, and the importance of storytelling, and especially oral storytelling. Like, that's like a huge tradition in a lot of cultures and that kind of stuff. So it was an awesome book for what my professor wanted it to be for, but I didn't love the book on its own. I started reading it like as a physical copy, and I had to order it on Amazon because it was sold out literally everywhere, which really, really sucked. But so I got it, and I started reading it, and I was like, this is so boring. This is so boring. I just can't get into it. And since it's like kind of old and like British, the names in it are like ridiculous and just so like flat, dead tone, boring. So it was just so hard for my brain to want to read it. So I did get it as an audiobook as well, and I found that listening to the audiobook was definitely a lot more helpful, because I was able to do other things and kind of like convince myself that it wasn't so bad. So it was awesome, like I said, because I could like knit or sew or work on embroidery or whatever while listening to it, and it was like a lot easier to accept that I had to read it. So yeah, I would give it probably like a 3 out of 5. Not awful, not great. The next book needs absolutely no introduction or words from me. Anne of Green Gables. If you are new to this channel, I'm obsessed with it. I don't need to talk about it. Watch my other videos. I talk about it in literally every single video. 5 out of 5. If you know, you know. Okay, the next book that I read was A Promised Land by Obama. I have so much to say about this book. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I will say that listening to it as an audiobook definitely gave it a few extra stars in my books, in terms of a rating, because obviously Barack Obama's voice is so nice to listen to, and that made it a lot easier to consume. And also additional points for him saying ethereal bisexual out loud. So the book is very politics based. I love politics. I'm very interested in politics and I'm very passionate about politics, but I don't feel like when I picked the book up, I wanted it to be about politics. Because I had previously listened to Michelle Obama's audiobook, I think I wanted it to be more like that. I wanted it to be a lot more like, I don't know, inspiring and about his personal life and that kind of stuff, and not about, politics. However, it was interesting because obviously as a political leader, we see a lot of information and we see a lot of, the way that he presents himself as the president, and then being able to see like how he felt and how he saw things and how things really were behind the scenes was definitely interesting. So I did love that aspect of it. I think that's really, really awesome. And I think it's really awesome to be able to be vulnerable like that, especially when you were in a position of, authority and power and that kind of stuff. I think it's really important to be able to be vulnerable like he was. And I loved that. But I just, like I said, I didn't really want to read about politics. And I did read one of his other books before. I think it's called Letters from My Father. And that was a lot about his personal life. And I definitely liked that book more than I liked this one. Because like I said, Michelle's was so personal that I kind of had hoped his would be like that too. But it wasn't. So take that information, do with it what you will. If you want to read about politics, definitely check it out. If you are not really into politics, do not read a book from a political leader. I feel like that is obvious. And the last book that I read, oh my god, I was obsessed with it. The Queen's Gambit. So good. So good. I started watching the show on Netflix because my friend was like, you have to watch this. It is so good. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I actually got a notification saying that it was free to download as an audiobook, and I was like, why not, right? And it was super short. It was only like, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours. And I literally did not think about anything else. I only thought about the Queen's Gambit from the time I started it until like a week after when I finished it. My friend and I had only watched 1 or 2 episodes of the show on Netflix before I started reading it. But they pair together beautifully. Like, I'm usually very much a kind of person that I like to read the book before I see the TV show or the movie, but seeing just a few episodes of the way that everything looked and that kind of stuff, obviously because the 60s had quite an aesthetically pleasing and noticeable aesthetic, right? But being able to see like the characters and that kind of stuff, like the casting, I can't speak today once again. The casting was phenomenal. I was obsessed with the actress who played the main character. And I think like seeing the characters and the setting beforehand really added an extra layer to consuming the novel. Because when I was reading the novel, I was picturing, the people who were in the show who I had seen. And later on when I was thinking about it, I was like, did that happen in the show? Or did that happen in the show? Or did I imagine that when I was reading? Because it was so vivid. So I was obsessed with that. I was obsessed with the way that I was able to so like easily visualize the things that were happening. Another thing too is obviously it's about chess. If you are someone who knows absolutely nothing about chess, like I am, you can still read this book and you can still watch the show. It has everything to do with chess, but it also has nothing to do with chess, you know? I saw this picture in a yearbook of me when I was in, like, I don't know, grade 6, and I was playing chess. And I'm, like, thinking about it, and I'm like, I've never played chess. I don't know anything about chess. But there is visual and physical evidence that I did once play chess. Anyway, I don't know anything about chess, but you can still read the book and you can still watch the show and get 100% of it. It really dives into, like, early feminist work and psychosis and the effects of being a child prodigy and that kind of stuff. Really, really awesome psychological feminist work. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. I would give it 6 out of 5 stars if I could. Like, I'm literally not even kidding. I only thought about the Queen's Gambit when I started it, and I still only think about the Queen's Gambit. Like, it is consuming. It is so, so, so good. So I feel like the month of February was not a great month in terms of the things that I read, other than obviously, like, the classic things that I'm obsessed with, like Anne of Green Gables. I've read that a million times, and I still give it 5 out of 5 stars. But The Queen's Gambit made all of the suffering I went through with Agatha Christie's Five Little Pigs so worth it, okay? I cannot recommend this book enough. And like I said, it's also really, really short. So if you aren't looking to pick up, like, a big, heavy novel, really awesome read to check out. Anyway, I think that's the end of the video. I did not read that much in February because, like I said, I've been super busy with school. So hopefully March has a bit more in it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will see you next week. Bye.